I've been fighting fake news reporters all day long here in the Washington, D.C. swamp who are trying to fearmonger the American people into believing that this administration is going after their hard-earned tax dollars and their hard-earned Social Security checks. So I want to set the record straight on your show tonight, Sean, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do so. President Trump has directed Elon Musk and the Doge team to identify fraud at the Social Security Administration. They haven't dug into the book yet, but they suspect that there are tens of millions of deceased people who are receiving fraudulent Social Security payments. And so their goal in going into the Social Security Administration is to identify three things. Number one, to identify duplicate payments and to end them. Number two, to identify payments that are going to deceased people who are no longer living and should no longer be receiving that money. And number three, to protect the integrity of this system for hardworking Americans who have been paying into it their entire lives. So rest assured to all of the people watching your show tonight, if you paid into the system, honestly, you will continue to receive your Social Security checks. Do not buy into the lies from the legacy fake news media who are trying to fear you and scare you into believing otherwise. This is what we've seen them do about President Trump for years with every promise that he has made. And he's going in there to protect your hard-earned money. That is the ultimate goal.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Black Coffee Podcast. Today, we're diving headfirst into the massive Social Security scam that's just been uncovered. As you all know, the Trump administration has been scouring our federal government's budget for fraud, waste, and abuse. This isn't some minor oversight. This is a blatant ripoff that's been going on right under our noses, and it's time we expose it. We're talking billions of dollars potentially being funneled out of the system. And it's all thanks to Elon Musk and the Trump administration's dedication to government efficiency that this is finally coming to light.
Well, as we know, there's a massive amount of fraud in this country. You have, for example, foreign fraud rings. These are foreign nationals who come into the United States. They use fake Social Security numbers. They use fake identities to steal billions in taxpayer benefits. There's no way to know until Doge gains full access exactly how much money we're talking about. But over a 10-year normal budget window, you could be talking about saving over $1 trillion by clamping down on massive fraud in our tax and entitlement systems, including, again, those carried out by organized fraud and theft rings. A very important point in all this is to understand that Doge are subordinate staffers of the federal government. They are political appointees, just like me, just like everyone else in the White House, that serve and answer to the president. So we're not talking about an outside private entity. We're talking about the existing federal staff of the federal government performing their statutory and constitutional duty.
So, how did this all start? Well, just yesterday, Elon Musk posted on his Twitter page pointing out some glaring discrepancies in the Social Security database. According to the Social Security database, these are the numbers of people in each age bracket with the death field set to false. Maybe Twilight is real, and there are a lot of vampires collecting Social Security. He highlighted that there are approximately 12.4 million people over the age of 120 years old that could be collecting monthly Social Security payments. Think about that for a second. 12.4 million people who are supposedly over 120 years old still registered in the system. If the average monthly Social Security payment is around $1,900, our federal government might be paying $23 billion each month worth of Social Security payments to people that aren't even alive. But it doesn't stop there. The Department of Government Efficiency uncovered this little gem in the federal government. The Treasury Access symbol field was optional for $4.7 trillion worth of payments and was often just left blank, making traceability almost impossible. As of Saturday, this is now a required field, increasing insight into where the money is actually going. $4.7 trillion in Treasury payments were being sent out without their destination ever being tracked or traced. It's like they were practically inviting fraud. Thankfully, President Trump isn't letting this slide. Trump has directed Elon Musk and the Doge team to identify fraud at the Social Security Administration. Trump's press secretary, Carolyn Levitt, had an excellent breakdown of this entire situation just last night. She said that President Trump has directed Elon Musk and the Doge team to identify fraud at the Social Security Administration. Identify and end duplicate payments, stop payments. To deceased individuals, protect the system's integrity for hardworking Americans. And he's not just talking the talk. Remember the 87,000 IRS agents that President Biden hired? Yeah, it's time to clean house. And then on top of that, it was just reported that Social Security's top official just resigned as all of this fraud and mismanagement is coming to light. This is what we need. Decisive action to clean up the mess and ensure that Social Security is there for those who have earned it. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Democrats and the left. The real reason so many Democrats are upset about entitlements like Social Security and medical fraud investigations is that they're using your taxpayer money as handouts to attract and retain illegal immigrants, their future voters. And that's what it's all about. That is the truth. It came out that in 2024, California spent $9.5 billion on healthcare costs for illegal immigrants. Under Democrat leadership, this country was pretty much like a slowly dying animal, completely infested, with parasites and getting picked apart by vultures. This is about corrupt career politicians that only ever got into politics in the first place as a cheap way to make money at the taxpayer's expense, abusing their position of elected office for self-gain and self-privilege. And this is how all of these corrupt politicians end up having tens of millions of dollars despite just having a $150,000 yearly salary. I want to give credit where it's due. Elon Musk for bringing this to light and President Trump for taking action. Thank God that President Trump is back in office and finally these problems are getting solved. Trump's political advisor, Stephen Miller, said that Doge are subordinate staffers of the federal government. They are political appointees just like me, just like everyone else in the White House that serve and answer to the president. So we're not talking about an outside private entity. We're talking about the existing federal staff of the federal government performing their statutory and constitutional duty. And you know what? It's about time that someone is performing that duty. This is what happens when you have a leader who isn't afraid to challenge the status quo and prioritize the American people. So to wrap things up, we've uncovered a massive Social Security fraud, thanks to Elon Musk and the Trump administration. The degree to which we've all been getting ripped off just becomes clearer and clearer. I want to know what you think. Drop your comments below, like this video if you found it informative, and subscribe to the channel for more hard-hitting truths. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and let's keep fighting to make America great again. Thank you all very much for watching. And of course, as always, stay safe.